Live from Julian's basement, it's Podcadzo. You give us an hour, and we'll give you the world. The world consisting primarily of YouTube references and Steely Dan trivia.
I just love that podcast.
It's podcadzo.
Podcadzo.
Hey everybody, welcome back.
Well, good up, guys.
Another week of Podcadzo, the official companion podcast, the well-known indie rock band Cadzo.
That is CADZO.
CADZO. I am Colin, joined by my co-host Cuke, and today we have a very special guest, Conor,
Returning
to the
alumni.
pod.
Where did Cuke come from? I'm a little behind on the episodes. Did you guys?
Oh, that's
Is that an inside joke from
a
a previous? Oh, okay. I guess
It's not even an inside joke. It's just something Julian started calling himself.
It was on the pod. We were gonna have a morning show where we had like cringy nicknames. And Collins was
Oh
Leonard.
yeah, it was from the morning radio show. It was Leonard
Colin
and
was
Cuke in
Leonard
the morning.
and I was Cuke.
Cuke and
And
Leonard.
we were doing like the traffic and whatnot, like, you know, typical morning radio show stuff. Hey guys, the weather is supposed to be miserable again today and the traffic's going to be really bad. And now here's a song from 25 years ago that you've heard a million times. Stuff like that. I think we were
That's
pretty
good.
good at it. We did it
It was
for a
good.
whole segment of one episode, like probably 2 years ago now. So, and Cuke just stuck. It's better than my real name, to be honest. Easier to say, more straightforward.
I'll be honest, I've never been crazy about Cuke.
Oh, fuck. I was going with it because I thought you liked it.
You know, I like Cuke.
All
I'm
right,
a-
there
I'm-
we go.
That's one
That's good
yay.
enough.
That's one yay for Cuke. But
It's good enough.
we
to
could
keep going.
say that the Cuke name is at the very least divisive.
It's divisive. I think that if nothing else,
polarizing.
that it is like true
Well,
to
it's
the
like
podcast lore.
Cuke's personality. Cuke is he's not for everybody.
Yeah, not everybody loves Cuke, but you got to have that guy. It's like Lewis and Floorwax. Remember Lewis and Floorwax on the Fox?
No.
Mm.
Those
I
were
remember
like the
John Jane and
go-to. Oh, Lewis and Floorwax were the best. I think I just had a boss who listened to them a lot, so I listened to a lot of Lewis and Floorwax. But they were on forever, and
In they were like Colorado terrestrial radio.
yeah, they were on 103.5 The Fox.
Mm.
And
I ever listened to
I
the
was
Fox,
never a big
to be
Fox listener. Yeah,
you really, you had to mix it up between the Bear and the Fox if you were going to do classic rock, because
I was a
Age.
Bear guy. 107.9 The Bear.
there's
honest. I wasn't a classic rock guy at all back in the day.
really. Oh man,
Yeah.
I was raised on classic rock radio.
I was
That's
listening
why,
to like 93.3 and like 97.3.
that's why I've been loving Time Crisis so much lately, because they've been doing some really good classic rock deep dives.
There has been a lot of good classic rock stuff. What
The
was
Boston
the Boston
Straits.
Up was good. And then they did NRBQ for the last one.
Yes,
I gotta
that
say the case for NRBQ being the band of the summer is so whack.
It's not.
NRBQ
It's
is
not landing
good.
for me.
It's
I
not
mean,
landing at all.
Boston and Dire Straits are both such better options.
Mhm.
And it feels like the fact that they're having to try to push so hard for NRBQ is just kind of, it's like, there's your answer. You can't force the band of the summer.
You can't at all. And it was like NRBQ is such a out of left field pick for that.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that they just get really, really committed to these bits and they're just extremely dry about it. But they feel like they're really pushing for NRBQ right now. And I'm with you. I can't really get on board.
Well, I felt that Ezra's heart wasn't really in it in the last one.
Yeah.
So you kind of tell like they were playing NRBQ tracks and you're just kind of yeah, all right.
Yeah, I was expecting a lot more, and then we got to the actual tracks, and it was just like,
Mm-hmm.
tell you what, not gonna be my band of the summer. I don't think you're gonna hear a lot of NRBQ at my J4 BBQ.
There's no NRBQ in my queue of songs to play.
Nope.
That's for
NRB
sure.
removed from Q. He's more like it.
That's a good
Most definitely.
Thanks, Julian.
Most
I was
definitely.
piggybacking off of Colin there, but
one. Nah, I think you did most of the grunt work on that one.
You weren't even
Oh.
fucking here, Julian.
I had to blow my
we
nose, bitch.
we started
You want me
talking about
sniffling on the
time.
podcast?
Started talking about Time Crisis. You immediately left.
I had to blow my nose because
Julian said
I'm
he's not
allergic
that
to stupid podcasts.
he's not that into Time Crisis.
I
I know.
tried.
That's why I was saying he
tried.
left.
I mean, I don't dislike it. I think it's fine. It's just like
It's an
after
acquired
all the hype
taste.
of it being like the best fucking radio show of all time. It's not.
Julian said he couldn't
my
get
favorite.
past. He didn't like Jake, and I was like, "Dude, you
Well,
are Jake.
I know.
Yeah,
that's the ironic
you're the
part.
Jake of the
I know.
podcast.
You're
I
the
never
Jake of
liked-
pod-"
But there always has to be one, and it's not going to be either of you guys.
No, we're both music industry insiders. We're extremely
Mhm.
egalitarian, diplomatic young men.
I like what
Yeah.
I like, and I don't like what I don't like. I like good
That's
shit.
such a
like
that's a Jake thing to say, and that's all right.
Yeah, but his takes are like also opposite of mine because he's like, I only like old shit and like jam bands, and I'm like, I only like new stuff and like I hate jam bands.
Well, Jake will surprise you. Jake likes a lot of. Well, it's like I love it because like whenever Jake likes something, I feel very validated. If you like something that I like,
Yeah.
and you know
Yeah.
it's got to be good. And then if Ezra dislikes something and actually vocalizes that, then you know it must really suck. Because
Yeah, I've never heard
Yeah.
Ezra actually say he doesn't like anything. I've always
he does.
only ever heard him like try to take the positive approach to everything.
He almost never does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we were
doesn't
talking
wanna-
about this, but the only time he ever really trashed anything was Ed Sheeran.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that was fair. Yeah, which I just don't
Which very well
understand why
deserved.
anyone. Yeah, I don't know why anyone can get on Ed Sheeran's side. To be honest.
The bed sheets. That song will always be bed sheet song to me now, since
hmm
because of Time Crisis.
I was talking to a friend recently who had a coworker, and they were like asking, what they wanted to play at wherever they worked, and the coworker asked for either Ed Sheeran or Morgan Wallen,
Mm.
and I was like, dude, you should not work there anymore. I
Morgan
don't know
Wallen,
how you could get past that.
maybe even more so than Ed Sheeran. It's like, how the fuck did this guy get to the level of fame that he has? Because I mean, like, it's just not special. Like, nothing that he does is like special in any
No,
way.
I truly, you can find a million Morgan Wallens walking down Broadway in Nashville.
Yeah,
Coming
100%.
from the guy whose #1 fucking song on Spotify last year was a fucking Luke Bryan song.
Sure.
Morgan Wallen fucking sucks. It's not like I love country and I even love some of the shitty pop country and I still cannot get behind Morgan Wallen. I just yeah, it's ass. And he seems like such a douchebag.
He is
Like,
a douchebag. I think it's like
Yeah.
well documented that he's just not a great guy.
But that's the equivalent, Colin, of somebody at the gym the other day. We had the World Cup was on, and somebody changed it to Fox News.
Oh
What
my
the
God.
hell?
They
I
turned
just wanted
off
to be
the
like-
World Cup to put on Fox News.
Yeah, I just wanted to be like, hey, like,
Everyone in
Come
here
on.
Get
hates
the
him
fuck
now.
out of it. Yeah, what
come
are
on,
you
this is
doing?
this is crazy.
Like,
Yeah, that's actually insane.
inexcusable.
Yeah, people have some real nerve.
That is some real nerve.
And then I have to walk by, and you
So-
just see those headlines, and it's just like you want to laugh, but then you're like, man, people like watch this and are just like, yep, this is true.
This is for reals.
Mhm.
This is life. Yep.
Like the one I saw, it was on Monday, and it was like the headline was like, Trump got the Iran deal Obama couldn't get, and I was just like, oh my god.
They're still mad about the Obamas. It's crazy. That was so long ago. Like, Jesus
Oh yeah,
Christ,
they're
get
still
over
well.
it.
They have
Fuck
to.
over it.
They have to play the hits of hating on
They do.
Obama and Biden because they don't have anything.
Connor, don't you mean Barack
like-
Hussein Obama?
Yeah, his middle name is Hussein.
His middle name is
His middle
Hussein.
name is Hussein. And you know who else?
And was he
his name
even
was
born-
Hussein.
Saddam.
And what did
I
Saddam
thought-
Hussein
I
do?
thought so.
9/11.
I'm not exactly sure what Saddam Hussein did, to be honest.
Something about taking baths.
WMDs, Julian.
Oh, that's right. They had the WMDs.
No, he wasn't a good guy.
That's why we
But-
invaded Afghanistan.
I'm not gonna sit here and defend Saddam Hussein.
That's not what this podcast is for.
Yeah,
What this
yeah,
podcast
that's our spin-off podcast.
That's our companion. Yeah, our companion.
Yes, podcadzo Middle East roundup.
Podcadzo season 2, defending Saddam.
Just when you think the takes couldn't get worse, they managed to get worse.
Yeah.
So what this
keep
podcast
doing it.
actually, what this podcast actually is for, is something I think is actually a little bit more complicated than what's going on in the Middle East.
Yeah, Middle East
And
is easy to debunk compared to what we're about to do.
decided to tackle the almost impossible task of ranking top 15 albums of the 2010s.
Thought we were doing
Now,
20.
guys,
Oh,
we said 15.
yeah,
You
we
did 15,
We
right, Connor?
Well,
firmly said 15.
I came prepared.
I have some honorable mentions too that I could throw it, but I would like to do them at the end because I basically have one big list, which so I don't want to accidentally say something that's on my list. So I'd like to do honorable mentions at the end.
So, Julian, I think this works out well for you because I was actually going to propose 5 honorable mentions after you get through the list.
Whoa,
so just
there
move
we
your
go.
16
So just
through 20
save
to
your
5.
16 through 20.
How long?
But I think this is a reminder for everybody to read the text when we make plans.
Well, I read the text, but I thought I saw 20 for the number.
Connor, you're right. It is a good reminder for that.
I'm a busy guy, okay? I got a lot going on.
I
it's
would
just funny
never.
that's something we had a explicit discussion about.
Okay, I
And
have
that
a few
15
And
was
then-
the number
Sorry,
thrown
you're
out.
mad that I have
And
too many
you
bands?
have the yes.
This is
I
just
would
like when you
love
didn't
to have
listen to
done 20.
the.
That would have been so much easier.
This is just like when you didn't listen to the U2 EP, Julian, until the day we recorded.
It is like that.
Yeah, well, that I think is excusable because U2's just not that great.
Yeah.
This is like the
Like I absolutely.
Julian.
had
This
to
is
do
like
that.
the time we were ranking new albums or best albums of 2025,
And you didn't even have
listened to
10.
nine of them.
Yeah, that was a really bad day for me, you guys. I
Yeah,
really
that was
felt
something
like an
you
idiot.
did
Like
that
anyone
was
should.
bad.
Like if anyone else did that, I would understand why they'd feel so stupid because I felt really stupid.
If anyone else did that, I certainly wouldn't invite them back as a guest.
No, never.
Mm-mm.
No, this podcast
Joe-
is like way above that, to be honest.
You
Yeah.
show up not prepared like that once, and you're done.
Yeah.
Well, I
I'm
did.
sorry.
Well, this is way more up my alley than having to cram into 1 year, because as we know, it's just not how I listen to music anymore. Even though this year I think I am going to hit 10 albums listened to. I may have even already. So
There you go.
a little teaser for year-end pod.
I'm excited for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's
We-
been a couple good ones lately.
I was gonna.
There
It's
have.
really hit a nice little
Mm-hmm.
rhythm lately of new albums. So
Can
yeah, I
we
think the year-end
sidebar?
list is gonna be good.
Should we tap into some what we've been listening to real quick?
Can we sidebar into that? I do have a.
Do we have a
question.
hard? Does anybody have a hard out? Because it
No.
might be a long. Okay, me neither. Because it
Not
could be a
really,
long
no.
out. All right.
Yeah.
Colin's definitely gonna like get an hour
Not-
into this and be like, "All right, guys, I think we're done."
Not
But-
really.
Yeah. See,
No,
he's
I
already,
mean,
he's
yeah,
already
he's
giving
already-
himself wiggle room right now.
Yeah.
I do not have a heart out.
Is
Okay.
it a soft out?
I'm in here for.
I think it's safe to say we all have hard ons, but nobody's got a hard out. Or is it? Is it hards on? Is the with the plural be hards, on?
Hards
like
on,
attorneys.
Like attorney general? I knew it.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, we all have
Okay.
hards on.
Yeah.
Hearts on.
Sandman, I wanted to ask about the new Vince Staples. Have you checked it out?
Yes.
What do you
Fuck
think about
yeah. I think it's a banger. I have the last couple of Vince Staples albums, not really because of the quality, just because of kind of just where I've been at in my music listening. I have not gone super deep on like the last couple, like his 2020s run, which a lot of people really like. But this one I'd listened to a lot. I liked it a lot. I like this thing. This people are bringing their guitars out lately. There's some rock influence transcending a little bit, which is fun.
it? Yeah.
But yeah, no, this was a great Vince album. Also, like 35 minutes long, which we love. I still I think would not put it in my top 3 Vince records, but super solid. Super solid. Very pleased with it. Also, wish I saw it debuted at I felt like I heard a lot of people talking about it, but I think it was just an echo chamber because it was like number 70 something on the Billboard. And it always just makes me sad. I just feel like people really missed the boat on Vince Staples. He's been doing it for 15 years now of almost exclusively high quality stuff, but I love him. The real ones know him. So yeah, a big fan. Big fan. What'd you think?
I love it. I honestly might put it in my top 3 Vince records after listening to it for a few weeks now. I think it's really hard to, and we've talked about this I think on the pod, maybe not specifically with you, but it's really hard to be a pop artist or a hip hop artist that pivots into rock and it feels genuine and not just a play for views or attention. This record feels super genuine to me. It feels like the product of a bunch of actual dudes just jamming in a room and figuring out tracks together. And the lyrics are really good. I think Vince Staples is probably the best at capturing the modern Black experience. Not I would know as a white guy, but it definitely seems like the way that he's able to paint a picture of the Black experience with his lyrics is super powerful. And there's a lot of that on this album. It's very charged, and I definitely think it's his best album of the last few releases. The last few releases were good, but they were all kind of exploring the same thing.
Yeah,
and
they were just
they were
all really
a bit dialed
kind
down.
of chill.
Yeah. It was really nice to have him getting a bit more into experimental territory. I think that's where he shines the best. So I fucking love it. I think it's probably going to be on my year-end list for sure.
There's a Pitchfork, I think it's their review of Summertime 06, where I forget exactly what the line was. I don't feel like looking it up, but they said it's Vince Staples has a way of just boiling down cold hard truths and handing or putting them in a way that could be delivered to you in a pamphlet.
Yeah, no.
It really 100%. Is they'll just say a line and you're just holy shit.
I
how
think
do you even put that into those words? It's really his lyrics have always been pretty mind blowing for me.
Yeah. If you're a person that is capable of having empathy, then I feel listening to his words is great insight of just an experience that you can't necessarily have in your own shoes. And it definitely it's always his goal, I feel with his music, to put that at kind of the forefront of the theme, but it's never preachy or in your face, or it's never made to make you feel white versus Black or anything like that. Because I know that a lot of white people who are scared of rap music instantaneously use that as an excuse of just oh, this music is about hating white people, but Vince Staples' music has never really felt that way at all. It's more about just telling a story.
He does really weed him out with the first track on this album by saying the N-word probably 100 times.
Yeah,
I've had a hard time bumping that one in the whip. Just
that one. It's a great track. I embarrassingly had not listened to the album yet. Last time we recorded, we were doing kind of a new music recap, but since then I've spun it a bunch of times, and it's an amazing album. I really dig it. I did see something today. There's a discourse about everyone thinking that the baby on the album cover is supposed to be Trump.
Oh yeah,
and Staples responded and was the baby is all of us.
Yeah,
I mean, cool.
I kind of think
answer to that.
Yeah, I kind of think it's not any one person.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just people trying to make shit about shit that it's not really about. Because I mean, it's a political record, but it's not really about Trump specifically. It's kind of just about, again, the whole modern experience as a Black person, the societal pressure to act a certain way or to be a certain way versus the, things you actually want to do. And then, the social expectations of Black Americans.
He's always been much more concerned about kind of the neighborhood and kind of what's happening in front of him on the street than he is
locally.
about, politics and
politics.
world. Yeah. That's always kind of been a specialty, which is I think why he does such a good job of like never coming off corny and always coming off super real.
Yeah,
and
never
genuine,
like
because
preachy.
He's doing what he knows.
Yeah, and it also
got
never feels outdated. Like
Mm-hmm.
Big Fish Theory still sounds like as modern as really any rap that's out now, and all the
Big
themes
Fish
like
Theory.
still apply.
That's the one that really like. Well, there's a couple, but Big Fish Theory, like that, I still feel like that's just one of like the sickest rap albums ever. Like the production is that was such a left turn, and the production is so insane. But it holds up so well. Every time I go back and listen to it, it's just like, yeah, there really was not anything like this in rap at the time, and there has not been much like this since. And it still feels like a completely new, fresh thing like today, which a lot of stuff from 2017 rap that even I loved does not.
It didn't age the best.
Yeah. Yep. Other new album I've been listening to a lot is Olivia Rodrigo. It's great. She's a queen. You guys know I love my pop, and new album is very good.
I haven't gotten to it yet, but I have heard a lot of good things.
Dude, she is like, speaking of like lyrics, dude, I mean, obviously it's a little more lighthearted and it's mostly like love songs and breakup songs, but she is a really good songwriter, dude. And this new album is very super Cure influence. She got a Robert Smith feature on it. So definitely worth checking out. But yeah, I was on that shit day one because I'm a stan. Look at what I did. Yeah, little visual aids for my albums today. There's a sneak peek.
Oh wow.
Impressive.
That's cool. I should have fucking done that too, man.
I actually looked, and I didn't do this on purpose, even though I probably was looking through my vinyls to get inspired. But I think I have all but like 2 of my top 15 on vinyl. So
okay, so I was gonna ask this earlier, and I kind of forgot. For everyone in the room, how long did it take to make the list, and then how many times did you change the list?
So it took me. I texted you guys, said I was having a hard time. It didn't take me. I mean, I went through my vinyls. I went through. Luckily, I've been on Spotify since like 2012, so I could look through. I went way deep into my Spotify library, and then I had it pretty much locked in. I was tinkering with it for a week or two because we've been talking about this for a few weeks now. And then I will say, like, I had it locked in. Hadn't looked at it for like a week. I looked at it this morning, and I was like, I don't know. But I didn't have time to. I was like, if I break back into this, we're going to be opening up a can of worms. So I just left it. So so I'm sure there's going to be shit I forgot. Some of my honorable mentions, I kind of tinkered, especially with like just the higher ones, like the top like 10, I think I had pretty locked in. But like the bottom 5, there was really stuff I wanted to put in there that I couldn't get in there, and I switched out those lower ones a lot. So my honorable mentions, like really any of them could have been on there, but
yeah,
at a certain point, you got to just be like, all right.
I still don't feel good about my list. I'm not very happy.
I don't think I do either after looking at it tomorrow. But there's going to be a lot of good albums on here that I haven't talked about on this podcast in depth. And I think confidently that my list is going to be very different from either of your lists. And I think maybe all 3 of us are going to have a different list.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's going to be the nice part of this is like, it's an era that we haven't necessarily gone super deep on, even though it's an era that's super influential to all of us because we all grew up through the 2010s and like in the same way that like, our grandparents came up listening to the Beatles, like these bands like were the Beatles of our generation as far as like being influential to us and shaping what we listen to for the rest of our lives. And I think the other hard part about this list, for me at least, was like at any one given time in the past, all of the albums that are on this list were like my favorite album for like a good bit. So it's like really hard to like sequence that honestly and put them in an order because they all were like number one at one point or another in the past. So that was like something I struggled with a lot. And then just the whole thing of like, I instantly came up with a list of bands and albums where I was like, these albums and bands are like the ones I want to talk about. That wasn't that hard to do at first, but then going back later and then suddenly remembering like, oh shit, this came out in the 2010s, and I had to like now kind of call a last minute audible and make some swaps on some stuff that kind of hard calls to make. But I think at the end of the day, like, I feel decent about it.
So I was curious what you guys did too, because we didn't really talk about this piece. I assume we did have the same approach, but I kept mine to albums that I loved in the 2010s. Like, this is the list I would have made at the end of 2019, because obviously there's a lot of albums since then that I like more than some of these, but weren't necessarily my favorite in the 2010s. For example, like Money Store by Death Grips would definitely be on my list now, but in the 2010s I wasn't super into Death Grips.
Yeah,
That
Did
is
you guys have a similar approach?
yeah, definitely.
basically. There might be one or two that added, but if they did, I got into them in like maybe 2020. But yeah, nothing I've gotten into in the last few. It's all, yeah, because I was gonna say that too, is like that I had to narrow it down somehow, and that was the best way to narrow it down for me. Is like, all right, I gotta like put myself in that, because
Yes.
yeah,
You
then
have to
like yeah,
figure
shit.
out, yeah, what your mind, where your head was at like the year 2020, basically.
And that makes it more interesting too, because now my list is good, definitely nostalgic. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
that being said, I also re-listened to basically everything on here at least like once over, and made sure it held up, and I didn't just like not like it anymore.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think there was a few where I didn't need to do that at all because I just already knew how I felt. But for the most part, yeah, I went back through, listened to all these albums, and was like, yeah, this is definitely like, even if I have
rules.
different feelings about it now in relation to how I felt about it back then, it still was incredibly formative to me and changed like the trajectory of like how I listened to music and what I wanted to like search for after it came out. I also
I didn't
think,
need to re-listen, because all of these albums are still constant rotation for me.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah,
feel
mostly
like
the case
very
for me as
familiar
well.
with all these. Yeah.
yeah,
But it got me back into a couple that I hadn't listened to in a while, that I like was like, oh shit, yeah, this album rules, and then kind of got back into Roto a little, so that was fun too.
I did wind up re-downloading Spotify for this just because I wanted to go back through some old playlists and some old
Look up
like
the data.
year-end mixes and stuff. And right around the time we initially had this idea, Spotify actually wound up dropping that playlist of like your most listened to songs of all time.
That helped. That
Which
helped too.
definitely helped, yeah. And it made me, I mean, a lot of it was kind of obvious already, but it did make me remember some stuff where it's like, oh yeah, I was listening to this song like all the time back in the day, and then kind of dropped off and forgot about it. But a lot of that stuff on that like Spotify playlist was from the 2010s for me, because I got my Spotify in 2012, and then, you know, my listening for a lot of those years was just like, I only wanted to listen to shit that was brand new, and a lot of stuff that was new kind of just like dominated my listening for long periods of time, and then I'd kind of fall off of it and forget about it forever. So definitely was a trip. And yeah, I do think it's important to separate like the stuff we really like now from the stuff we liked back then, because I do think those would be very different lists.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing that this exercise made me realize is that doing this for the 2000s would be literally
Really
impossible.
hard. Oh my God.
Yeah,
That would be so
I don't even want to try to do it.
I
I'd
think
have to do like 50.
Yeah, 50 would be doable.
I think we should try to do like 25. Because I do think,
I'd be down.
you know, we should keep this going in some capacity. We can't do like, well, we could. In my opinion, I'm not really interested in doing decades from like before we were born. So we like can't really do this too many times. Because, you know,
What do you
like
wanna do?
Rick
It'd be
Beato
fun to
would do,
do
like,
2000s
music
and
of the
90s.
50s. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't care about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
And then
I
we could
think
do,
we
like,
could get away
2020.
with an 80s one too. Because 80s were still very much in the
I
zeitgeist.
just don't know
in
how
our
much music
early
I listen
childhood.
to.
yeah, it's just like I don't really connect to that music the same way.
I would almost have a harder time in the 80s than I would in the 2010s.
I know you probably would, but we just have different relationships with that stuff because, like, whereas we all definitely have strong connections to 2010s music, it's like my connection to 1980s music is like not really there as much. There is certain stuff I love, but it's like, again, I love
It's all
it now.
weirder
I didn't
shit.
necessarily love it 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
It's
Yeah.
all like the weird post-punk shit I got into in like the last 10 years. I feel like it's most of the 80s stuff I listened to.
Yeah, I hear. Well, it's like
Or like
in like
synth stuff.
in the mid 2010s, I was probably listening to more stuff from the 80s than I was from the mid 2010s.
Yeah, see, I think we're just different like that.
Yeah. Okay, but anyways.
Any hoozle.
Are we doing our traditional order of operations, going a little circle, one by one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the official podcadzo top 15 albums of the 2010s plus 5 honorable mentions at the end.
This is a big
Conor?
moment, folks.
It's a big moment.
Boom.
But
This
teasing
is
this for
big.
weeks.
Could be our biggest episode yet.
I think
Definitely.
so. So
I
without
challenge
further
anyone
ado,
at home to do this.
Yeah.
I think
it's
you
not
should.
easy.
And drop your lists in the comments. I'd love
Yeah,
to
I'd
see
love
what the
to.
listeners.
Send them to the email. We'll get to everything we can. Get a lot
Cadzoband@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Everybody can send them there.
Mm-hmm.
We're already overwhelmed on that Gmail, so we'll get to what we
A
can. but-
lot of legal stuff in there.
Yeah, mostly
Mhm.
legal stuff.
Being very
I've-
heavily sued right now.
Oh yeah.
But if anyone wants to
Turns
buy some
out they
Lego
take
sets,
copyright stuff seriously
yeah.
in the biz.
All
But
right,
anyways, all right, Connor,
ready?
please do the honors of your number 15.
Number 15, I had to keep a poker face when you just mentioned it, Colin, because it is on my list. My number 15 is The Money Store by
Nice.
Death Grips. Hopefully we don't get sued for that cover art. I still have it hanging on my wall, framed, and people will always like look at it and be like, but no, awesome album. Speaking of shit that just like doesn't sound like anything else that was out around then. Or at least doesn't sound like anything else if you're like me and you never really went deep on like industrial and experimental music. For me, it's very out there. It's just there's a lot of Death Grips has a lot of great albums. That's the first one I got into. I think it's probably their most accessible. It's definitely the one I've listened to the most, and it's just really front to back, fucking bangers. The production is insane. The vocal performances are insane. There's just a lot of stuff that feels like maybe it shouldn't work, and the songs feel like they're getting out of control, and then they all just come back together into like some crazy hook that just like makes you want to literally ram your head into a brick wall. I first started listening to it when I was landscaping, and I hated landscaping so much, and it would like be the song I would listen to when I woke up in the morning and had to ride my bike to the landscaping shop to like wake up. I would play I've Seen Footage. So yeah, just insane album that I don't think there's really anything else like it in 2010s from a very interesting band that is, I think, important to a lot of people who like weirder music. So
Yeah. I definitely remember this album being very different from anything else that I had ever heard before, and I definitely did not understand it at the time. I was like, what the fuck is this? It's a great example of an album that I like now, that when it came out, and even for the few years afterwards, I was like, I do not know if I can get behind this. Now it's just
Exactly.
like pretty chill, like hyper music, like in the slew of things.
I revisit this album more than like probably numbers 15 through 5 on my list, but same thing as Julian. I remember hearing it when it came out like around 2012, and yeah, I just wasn't ready for it then, I guess. And it took a while for me to come back to it.
What's everybody's favorite song on this album?
You mentioned I've Seen Footage.
Yeah, but that's one that got me into it, but I might go Hacker at this point now. I don't know. There's a lot of fucking good. Bitch Please too. This one's really front to back. Really good. But, cool.
What's your favorite track, Drew?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm trying to pull up. My phone is like completely bricking right now. Probably, I don't know. It's been a long time since I listened to it, to be honest. Someone hit me with the track list really quick. My phone is
All right,
completely bricked.
we got Get Got, The Fever, Lost Boys, Blackjack, Hustle Bones. I've seen footage. Double Helix.
Hustle Bones.
Oh,
Just
I've
the-
seen footage.
Hustle Bones is good too. I've seen footage is a banger. Double Helix is sick. System
Double
Blower is
Helix,
sick.
yeah. Shit.
The Cave,
no.
Punk Weight, Fuck That, Bitch Please, Hacker. This
Hacker's
is a sick
great.
album. Sick album. Shout out Death Grips.
Yeah, Death Grips is
Huge shout out. They're officially disbanded now.
Yeah, they're done.
Are they? I
official.
thought it was
They're
a rumor, or they made it official. Bummer.
Yeah.
Wow. What great run!
was-
What a run!
A great run for sure. Julian, please go next.
You want me to
Keep
go?
say.
Yeah.
All right. My number 15, and this really sucks that my phone's not fucking working because I really wanted to pull up the track list for all the records and not be a dumbass, but I'm just gonna have to raw dog it. My number 15 is the album "So Long, See You Tomorrow" by Bombay Bicycle Club. It's the album that like really got me into Bombay Bicycle Club because I had like I heard the blues, but I shook them loose, but it just didn't like click with me until a lot later. And this album really like clicked with me instantly, especially because they had like some live playthrough videos and like session videos on YouTube. And it was like around the time that me and Robert and Will were like always hanging out at the crib and just like watching crazy like music live performances on YouTube and like getting stoned. This is like how we discovered, I think, a lot of music that wound up being super formative to us. But for me, that's like where it connected with Bombay, was just watching them like play those songs live. And the production quality of the record was like so good that it was like in a lot of ways the first record that made me like think about production quality, where I was just like, holy shit, how do the drums sound this good? And like, how does everything sound so separated? And like, how are the vocals like this good and stacked and open and spacey? And like, how is it possible to make a record where like shit's not competing for the front, where like there's still a lot going on? So yeah, it just like reshifted my perspective on like music and music making in a lot of ways. And it's like stuck with me. Like I still listen to it a lot, and I think it still sounds like super modern, super like relevant in like the pop and indie scene. And like I just think it's like a perfect album. Like from start to finish, every song is like its own special little like masterpiece, and it's it's just like really near and dear to my heart for all those reasons. So that's why I put it there. It's hard to not put it up higher, but at the end of the day, like it did kind of influence my decision making a little bit, thinking about this record in the pantheon of like the rest of the Bombay records. And now where I'm standing is, you know, it's not necessarily like my favorite thing they've ever done, even though it was like my introduction to them and like what made me fall in love with them so much. So that's kind of why I didn't put it higher, but yeah, there it is.
Hell yeah. You know, I love Bombay Bicycle Club.
Oh yeah.
So great pick.
Great band.
Great band. All right. Number 15 for me was maybe like the hardest one to place on the list, because it was really like anything that ended up in honorable mentions could have been number 15. It's like it was just kind of picking an album I guess I wanted to talk about on the list. And the one I ended up going for was The People's Key by Bright Eyes.
Damn, bro. That's a great pick.
It didn't come out until, or it came out in 2011, so earlier one. I didn't get into it until around the year of 2014, when my now wife and I started dating. Bright Eyes is her favorite band of all time. And I was, of course, familiar with Bright Eyes, but I don't know. She just really introduced me to Bright Eyes. I had a CD of The People's Key that we bought at a CD shop together in my car. And so from like the year 2014 through 2016, I'd say The People's Key was on constant rotation. along with some earlier Bright Eyes albums. And so yeah, this is one. It's a great album, amazing songs. Bright Eyes went on such a stellar run in those days, from really like the first album. I mean, there's Bright Eyes is still making good music, but like Digital Ash and Digital and People's Key, all those kind of mid-period Bright Eyes albums are
I'm
super
wide awake
good.
this morning.
Wide Awake this morning, exactly. So yeah, but this one made the list because of the added sentimental value. It makes me think of the early days of my relationship, and yeah, great album.
Nice, man.
Nice. Yeah, I've listened to a whole lot of Bright Eyes. I should probably do a deep dive on them.
They
I
were
think
like a
you could get
childhood-
into some Bright Eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could too. I have one of theirs on vinyl because I accidentally got it from Vinyl Me Please once. So
accidentally got
Do you
it.
know which one it is?
it's the one with, I could show you, I could tell you. I'll tell you. I'm wide awake this morning. That's the one.
Oh yeah, that's right. I have that one on vinyl too.
Yep.
That,
Well, I have the special pressing.
that
I
has
know
the First Day of My Life on it, which was like the first breakout hit for Bright Eyes.
Well, I'll give it a spin for in honor of your list. All right. Next one. 14. All right. I actually just switched this out because I realized my 14 was one that I had gotten into a little later. So I swapped it out. I'm switching it. I was really close to putting this one in anyway, so I'm putting it in. I'm switching it to barely made the cut 2010, but this is happening.
Ooh.
Damn.
LCD sound system.
I remember when I liked them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, some people here don't think it's cool to like LCD sound system anymore for whatever reason. Even though they're still really good, but I actually almost went with. I've been listening to a lot more of American Dream lately, but I mean, this album is such a classic.
I do not like American Dream.
It's some people don't like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's a little long.
I liked
guess
it
they
when
all
it came out, and then just like ever since then, whenever a track from American Dream comes on, I'm just like skip.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. I liked it a lot too, and then also very quickly got off of it.
Well,
I do. I love this is happening. It almost made. It was gonna be in my HMs, but I didn't feel like getting into the discourse, and
I know.
I feel like
figured
I'd
Julian
be kind
would
of
have
be
something to
contradicting
say.
my own, because I've said complicated things about LCD sound system on this pod
it's
too.
hard because like again, if we're approaching this from like how we felt about them throughout the 2010s, it'd be a different story because they were like one of my favorite bands of the 2010s. Like,
Yeah,
I fucking loved them when I was growing up, and I thought that they were like the shit. And then I just like burnt myself out. I just like listened to it too much and got sick of it, which I think is like fully my fault at the end of the day. Like, I don't actually think that's like the band's fault, but it's just
Well,
hard.
it's tough because they
things
only have like
change over
4
time so
albums.
much. Yeah, well, and they also like, I don't know, they are very singular. Even being someone that did like them, they don't really do more than one thing, and they do that one thing really well, but it's still just like one thing at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, I kind of feel you. Like, especially, I mean, Dance Yourself Clean is a great example.
Yeah,
Or,
it's
like,
a timeless banger.
and yes, but also, I've heard that song so many fucking times I might never want to listen to it again in my life. On purpose.
yeah.
Totally.
So, and it's the first song
And
of this
that's a
album,
great
so it's
one
tough
to be
going
like-
in. Go ahead.
Dance Yourself Clean is a great one to be like, show me the blueprint for an LCD sound system song.
Right,
It's like,
yeah.
oh, here's Dance Yourself Clean. Yeah.
I did
Okay,
just see a TikTok of a guy mashing up Dance Yourself Clean with Lip Gloss by Lil Mama, though, and it was fucking,
That's
it banged. It banged. It went really good. So that they were forefront of my mind again. But all right, well, you're up, Julian.
Number 14 for me.
Catorce.
I don't want
Catorce.
this might be, well, I don't think it'll be controversial. You guys might say I'm stupid for this one, maybe, but I'm gonna try to rationalize it slightly. So I knew I had to pick. Well, I guess in my mind, I had to pick a Kendrick Lamar album because he was like the guy that got me into rap. Really, at the end of the day, he got me into like modern rap more than anybody else. And it was really hard because he had like so many releases in the 2010s that were like my favorite at the time of conception. And, like Damn took me a long time to kind of understand, but after a while it became like my favorite one. T-Pab was like my favorite for a while, but it was also like the first one I listened to. And so when I was like going back and really thinking about like which one I listened to the most out of the 2010s and then like which album like elicited the best memories, for me it was actually Untitled Unmastered. So that's the one I went with because
Interesting.
all the tracks on there are like Kendrick at, in my opinion, like his most out there and most fearless, and he's just kind of doing literally whatever the fuck he wants. And a lot of those songs were like a take on modern rap that I just like never really heard before, even on T-Pab, because T-Pab had to be kind of organized and it had to have some kind of like more straightforward like radio bangers, but Untitled really didn't have to have that, and it really didn't. It was just kind of all over the place and like super influential in the sense that it just did like whatever it wanted and leaned into whatever like felt the best for the song. And yeah, it really was like the one that I listened to the most throughout all the 2010s because it has like something for each vibe on it, and the bars are like so good. So it was really hard to not put T-Pab there, but at the end of the day, Untitled felt like a better choice for me, and also slightly more out of pocket because it never fully got its flowers because it's obviously not like a full-blown studio release. But I also think all of Kendrick's best moments are like on his off album stuff generally. So
Great pick. That album does rule. I realized the whole time I was making this list, I was like, definitely had something from Kendrick penciled in and couldn't think of which one to do, and I forgot to put any Kendrick on my list. So that's just an oversight. There should be a Kendrick album on my list for sure.
I think we're all going to have oversights. That's the hard part.
Yeah, that's the first one that I've seen that's blatant. I probably would have gone Good Kid, Mad City, just pure nostalgia standpoint, but Untitled Unmastered was sick. And it was just like, yeah, after To Pimp a Butterfly, when it was just like, that was just, everybody was showering that album with so much praise, just to put something out that was just like, basically him saying he didn't even give a fuck what you thought about it. It was kind of a genius move. And then people were like, wait, this is actually sick though.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot more experimentation. Like you said, a lot more leaning into kind of the eccentricities, little jazzier.
Super jazzy. Yeah.
I like that. It's definitely a classic
very
contrarian Julian pick, but I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to necessarily be contrarian, but also like I have memories of like driving around as a kid, like with my windows down in the summertime and like blasting shit because I'm like, yeah, I'm on my own. I'm driving the whip like by myself. And it's like, there's a lot of like moments where it's like I'm blasting T-Pab, I'm blasting Damn, but also like my favorite memories are like always with Untitled Unmastered being like fucking blasted out the window and people looking over like, what the fuck? Bro's listening to like the fucking B-side to the B-side.
Yeah. Well, I remember. Go ahead, Colin.
No.
I remember that's kind of the same. I was like, with my first year having my driver's license when Good Kid, Mad City came out, and I like found a leak of it, and we were bumping. I remember the first day it came out, we were driving to lunch and bumping the song Mad City, and just everyone in the car being like, "Holy fucking shit!" That's still one of the biggest bangers of all time. That's all.
Yeah,
so.
I think that's probably the first time I heard it. Kendrick Lamar was in your car. Then
maybe because I was definitely bumping Section 80 when it came out too.
Yeah,
I was like, I was pretty early on the Kendrick and the Top Dog Black Hippie train.
Yeah, and I didn't get to it until a bit later. Like T-Pab was really my first actual exposure to Kendrick at all. And I didn't really like love it until a couple years after I had listened to it, when I had some friends in the band who were like, dude, you have to go like give Kendrick another try. And then it just clicked and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And almost immediately after TPAB was like the Untitled Unmastered, which, yeah, just like, because obviously TPAB is like jazzy and whatnot still, but like it just doesn't have as much of a rawness to it compared to like Unmastered. And it's just like the rawness and like the openness of it is like what makes it feel super like experimental and down to earth, in my opinion.
We know you like it raw.
Oh
Julian,
yeah, baby.
So not
Ooh, baby, he
surprised.
likes it raw.
I like that pick better than I would have liked Damn, I think. So
Yeah,
I
and
like
Damn
it.
was initially on the list because it's just like, well, that's my favorite one. But really, I don't know if it really is at this point. It was for a long time. Now it's like, I honestly think GNX might be my favorite, or Mr. Morale. Those albums are both like fucking great.
GNX is your favorite?
I think
mean,
that's a little crazy.
It's hard to pick between. It's just because like, well, no, it's probably Mr. Morale, honestly.
Did you ever
That's
get into
also-
Good Kid, Mad City?
Yeah, definitely. It's just
Okay.
like it doesn't have the nostalgia for me, and
Yeah.
therefore it's like not his best record because it's missing the nostalgia.
Yeah.
Well, pretend I have Good Kid, Mad City somewhere on my list.
Okay, we'll do.
Noted. All
All right, Colin. Couture.
Couture.
We are flying through this list.
All right, my number 14, Norman fucking Rockwell by Lana Del Rey.
Nice.
Nice, bro.
Probably
Good
the one closest to the cutoff in my whole list, 2019. But this was a big album in the households. Still is. Still spin this all the time. Got a vinyl copy. I think it's really Lana's masterpiece.
Has a song
Just-
about Father John Misty on it.
Yep, for sure.
Mhm.
Confirmed that it is about Father John Misty. And that's what did it for me, is the Father John Misty thing. So that's all I have to say about it.
It's a great album, honestly.
Dude, I
It is.
listened
It's
to
beautiful
it
album.
again recently when I was texting you guys about it, and it really is.
Yeah.
Just like, because I was not into Lana before that came out, and I remember it came out and Pitchfork gave it like a 9.4, and I was like,
Yeah.
what? And I listened to it, it's like, it really is like, holy shit, this is a fucking song.
Yeah.
These are tunes right here.
Yeah.
It's tunes for sure.
Yeah.
And there were other Lana albums I was really debating putting on the list. So just know that Norman fucking Rockwell kind of stands for a lot of other Lana Del Rey work, but I didn't feel it felt too insane to put more than one Lana album on the list.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
especially because if we were allowed to do like multiple albums by the same band, then I think my list would be like half one band, which
I thought we were allowed to do that.
I don't
I
think
mean,
we
you're
said.
not allowed to.
I tried not to.
Kind of lame if you
I
do.
Well,
have-
my list is absolutely fucked then.
Well, we agree
No,
your list
No,
would
it can be
lame already.
easily edited.
No,
I tried-
don't
I do
edit it.
have-
I want to know.
I have one. Yeah, leave it. I have
Okay.
one. I have one instance of two albums by the same band because I could
I
not.
bet I know
I almost
who it
think it will.
is.
Ooh, well, we'll find out later. It'll probably be like an hour and a half from now.
At this rate, we're still
Good thing
discussing the rules.
Good thing nobody's got a hard out. All right.
Yeah.
Now that we've got the rules down,
Just
can you start
hards
from
on.
the top? Let's
Start over.
Yeah.
Hards on,
Let's take
no
a
hards
quick
out.
10 minutes to just redo the lists.
Yeah,
Connor, you
And
can put
just-
Kendrick in there, and then we're gonna start over.
and just shoot the shit a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
13.
13. My number 13 is I had to have one by this guy. I felt like he just was on such a run this decade. And when I look back, I think this was kind of the pinnacle of this era for him, while also being kind of the start of a new era for him. But I have Daytona by
Okay.
Pusha T. One of the last really high quality music projects Kanye was involved in as well, in my opinion. It's just Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Pusha T for the whole decade, and he really didn't have like an album that whole time. I mean, he had My Name Is My Name, and he had the King Push that was supposed to be like a prequel that was really good. And then his album, this like real major label debut album, solo, was supposed to be King Push. Ends up, we're still all waiting for that. Then this whole Wyoming thing happens. King Push gets scrapped. He drops Daytona. I'm like, what is this? Just like 20 minutes, maybe even under 20 minutes. It's all Kanye production, but the production is so fucking good on it. It is just Pusha T at kind of his peak, just flexing, coke bar rapping, which to me personally never gets old. And also started off the Drake Pusha T beef, which also holds a special place in my heart. His story of Adidon is just one of the most insane diss tracks ever. And I remember like where I was when that dropped, just losing my shit. It was
that
like
did
that was
feel
the
like
original.
the first great rap beef of our time, of like of our lives.
How everybody felt with Not Like Us, which I was definitely freaking out for Not Like Us, but like how I felt like younger people felt to that, I'm like, man, you guys should have been there for Story Added On when fucking Pusha T told everybody that Drake had a kid that he was like,
kid, yeah.
Yeah, and that started on this with Infrared, with the last song on the album. But yeah, this album's just front to back. There's truly no filler. Starts off If You Know You Know, which is obviously a classic, and then it doesn't stop. It's so good, and the beats fucking rule on it. And you put Pusha T on a good beat, which he's always had a great ear for production and always had great producers working for him. And he might not have the most versatile flow, but it just works.
It works.
He's one of my big regrets of the 2010s that I wasn't a bigger Pusha T fan then, because like, you know, especially when the new Clips album came out, I really went back and was like revisiting Pusha T stuff. It's like, man, I realized I wish I appreciated what was going on in the 2010s then. But to me then he was just kind of, I don't know, I didn't have the ear, I guess, for like innovative hip hop that I do now. And so I just kind of, I put him in like the leagues with other rappers, and I don't know.
Well, as you guys are going to see going forward, is the 2010s were extremely hip hop heavy for me. I've never been more dialed in. So there's going to be kind of more where that came from.
I kind of thought that might be, you know.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah.
There's honestly less than I thought there would be, but there's a good amount. So that'd be cool. Stay tuned. That's a little teaser.
Little teasy for the
Call
boys.
that in the biz.
All right,
also,
Julian.
sorry guys, I'm gonna be peeing a lot this pod because I went to the gym before this, so just ignore me.
Okay.
I'll probably have to go here soon too. What does going to the gym have to do with that? You were drinking a lot of water at the gym?
Yeah, whenever I go to the gym, I like my pre-workout it's just like all that caffeine. It's a diuretic.
Pre-workout diuretic.
Makes a boy gotta piss.
I'm about 5 cold snacks deep right now.
Yeah, and
that's the other.
Oh man, I got to catch up here. So yeah, now that I'm mixing in the Coors Light, it's really like an every 30 minutes type of situation for me. But just ignore me. That's the only time I'm going to announce it. And you can cut this. Make sure to cut this part out, Colin.
Okay.
He's definitely not going to do that.
Totally will.
All right, and I'm still listening to Julian, so don't feel like I'm not listening to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to make this quick. 13, right? Okay. 13 is for me like one of the first kind of more experimental albums that I got into that made me really like experimental music. And it was like in my lane kind of already, but it was still like completely different from anything I'd ever heard before. And I was like a little bit too young to appreciate the production aspect of it, but later on I was like kind of going back and being mind blown by the production. So it kind of had 2 lives. And that is Amok by Atoms for Peace, the Tom York and Flea project from back in the day. It was just like, I remember listening to it with my dad for like the first time on my way to drum lessons, actually. And it was just like, yeah, it was just super different from anything I'd ever heard before. And it really stuck with me in the sense that it made me want to pursue more like kind of experimental, like ambient electronica inspired music that used like real instruments.
Yeah.
And it kind of is what got me into like all of the analog synth stuff that I got into in the 2010s, like Boards of Canada, Tycho, and things like that.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, it definitely like was very formative, and I spent so many hours watching live videos of Atoms for Peace on YouTube. That was like one of the first bands that I would just lose so much time in a day watching on YouTube, because they're just so incredible to watch live. And like Tom York and Flea have such a unique and dynamic energy when they like play together. So it was just, yeah, super fun. Made me really understand Flea a lot more, and like the hype with his bass playing and the Red Hot Chili Peppers, because I was definitely a full-blown hater and thought that the Chilps were like so fucking stupid. But then I saw Flea with Tom York and I was like, okay, so he's got to have like something going for him. And he's definitely like the center of Atoms for Peace in that he plays like all of the lead parts essentially. So yeah, love Atoms for Peace, and that album is definitely like a classic in my mind as far as albums that I think would be on like my gravestone of things that define me as a person.
Love that you brought it up. Not surprised that that's in your list at all. I was expecting Atoms for Peace to be in there, but I was just listening to that album 2 days ago. Listened to it in its entirety as I was doing some work here in the office, and beautiful album. Didn't make the list because it's one that I didn't get into until much later, out of the 2010s.
Totally.
But amazing album.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Radiohead and Radiohead adjacent projects like Eraser, Tom York, and or Atoms for Peace. I'll just spoil it. Didn't make the list at all because I was kind of overwhelmed by even picking one, to go into.
That's
so
kind of what happened to me with Kendrick.
Yeah.
I was like, obviously I'm going to pick one, and then I just forgot to ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Make that decision.
I had like a process, and it was essentially just, and I've kind of already said this, but it was just like, if it was hard to pick like a specific album, then I generally just went with the one that like got me into the band first.
The band. I think it's good. Yeah,
but that's fair
for sure.
Because we're already leaning into the nostalgia play. I like that.
And I'm not really like, I mean, I'm nostalgic for sure about music, but I'm not, I don't think, as nostalgic as most people. So it is kind of hard to like think about music in that way in some ways, rather than just being like, well, what was actually like good,
Yeah. Some people would say music is objective. And
idiots would say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fine.
I personally think that you just have to go off the Pitchfork score.
Yeah, 100%. That's why Pitchfork.
What else is Pitchfork? Yeah, exactly. What else is there for? To determine my tastes. All right. I'll take this opportunity to talk about my number 13. And it is The English Riviera by a band called Metronomy. Are you guys familiar?
Oh, yes. I know Metronomy. That's crazy, bro. That actually is a huge like timeline. Like
you would recognize some songs, Connor. Check it out. I think you would dig it.
Metronomy? Yeah. There's already been a few that I haven't heard of on here, so
I feel like they're a Will Benson type joint a little bit.
A little bit. No, I actually, that's funny because Will showed me a band, I forget who, but it reminded me of Metronomy, and I was like, oh, you must be a Metronomy dude, and he had never heard of them, but I think I got Will into this album. Oh, you know what?
He'd never heard of Metronomy?
Fucking idiot.
Can you believe Will Benson never?
What a loser.
I'm a musical genius, Benson.
God, and I don't even know
Didn't
Metronomy.
Even fucking know Metronomy. He also didn't know the Dirty Projectors, which now that I mentioned that
makes
Dirty
perfect
Projectors may have been on my list. should have been on my list maybe.
Yeah, and also the Dirty Projectors guy's brother is Jake Longstreth. So full circle.
It's full circle. Dave Longstreth. The English
Stress.
Riviera, The Stress. I think it came out in 2013. I did not really get into it until like 2017.
2011,
probably.
I just looked it up.
2011. Okay. But when I did get into it, I got into it heavy. And it was around the time of the Wax Romantics project. And I'd say the English Riviera was the biggest inspiration for the first Wax Romantics EP.
I did fuck with the first Wax
Romantics
EP heavy.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, let me know if you noticed
That was
any of
before I was involved, so you can thank me.
Yes.
It was before you were involved?
Yeah, I
was
chose
before
not
he
to
was
get
involved.
with that one, so.
Some call it the golden era of Wax Romantics.
Oh, that's probably why it was so good.
Yeah, no, that was exactly what I was saying, you fucking idiot.
Well, I had to hammer that point home, Julian. Hey, Colin, did you know? Did you know that people call Santa Barbara the American Riviera?
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should
I've
make
never
a
been to
companion
any
album.
of the Rivieras. I've never been to the English one, the French one. I've been to Santa Barbara, I guess. Okay, so I've been to the American one.
I've
Yeah,
been
it is.
to Buick Riviera.
It's totally a Riviera.
Yeah.
The whole neighborhood called the Riviera on the hill.
Hell yeah. Okay.
You guys should come out here and make an album called The American Riviera as a companion piece to Metronomy's album.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
We should
Maybe.
well, also, I think the Rolling Stones were living on the French Riviera when they recorded Exile on Main Street. And they were like, actually exiled from England. So we could also move out there and call it like Exile on Larimer Street.
Exile on the 101.
And it's like we're exiled from Colorado. We're not paying state income taxes. So we have to go to California and record Exile on Larimer Street.
State income taxes
on the
here,
American Riviera.
pretty moderate.
Yeah, that's
Not a
well,
big
we're not gonna
tax
pay.
state.
We're not gonna pay taxes in California either.
Nope.
Definitely not.
Nope.
Could we just declare Kadzo a portable nation state?
Sovereign
I am-
citizen.
Sovereign citizen. Yeah, we are a nation state. Maritime law or something.
Hey.
Maritime law.
Corporations are people, and Kadzo
We're
is
made
a
of people
corporation.
also, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you, Rolling Stones made me think of this. Did you guys ever read Keith Richards' autobiography, Life?
No. You're crazy.
It's crazy. It's wild. It puts
see
basically
that.
every other rock biography to shame. The amount
I
of
just
stories this
got-
dude has.
I just got that REM one. The name of this band is REM, but I haven't.
Oh, it's REM. I've been so close to reading that so many times and I haven't. But
I have it now. But
would you mail it to me after you read it?
yeah, once I finally read it, I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you. But while they were recording Exile on Main Street, they had this like little, cottage in the countryside in France, and Keith Richards in the attic. He got like this like super potent heroin, like very pure, and he had like a little note card next to it with just like instructions on how to cut it before he injected it, and like that's what he just like lived off of for like a year. And he was saying that it was just surprising that he didn't OD in that time, because he'd be like out of his mind on drugs, like reading a note card, like mixing heroin. And anyways, a little inside rock and roll story there.
Great.
Cool.
Number 12.
All right, number 12.
Number 12.
Some stories are just so good. There's no real segue.
I guess that was
for
one of
them,
those you had to.
Tell
That was
them.
one of those you had to be there reading the book
Yes.
with me type
Yeah.
stories.
All right. Speaking of You had to be there. This one was, I mean, holds up awesome. I think this is just an incredible piece of music. But when this came out, there was basically no run up to it. This guy had not released any music for, I don't know, like 15 years. I think people didn't know where he was or what the fuck he was doing. And then this album came out, and people were like, holy shit, this guy put a new album out. And then they listened to it, and they were like, holy shit, it's fucking incredible. And that album is, of course, The Black Messiah,
Oh,
D'Angelo, and The Vanguard. Almost feels like a little bit of a precursor to T-Pab, too, in a way. It's, I think it came out before T-Pab, 2014.
mhm.
It's very jazzy. It's, I mean, his older stuff is pretty jazzy too, but this one feels a little more raw, a little less produced, but the vocals are a little, like, you could tell his voice is like gotten a little strained over the years, but he still sounds amazing. And there are just some, it took me a while to get into this one, like, but it's one of those, once it clicks for you, there are just some moments on this that are just kind of transcendental that a lot of albums don't do it to me like that. You know, like, I don't know, Prayer. I think Prayer is the first song that I was really like, Jesus. And the Back to the Future, both Back to the Futures, The Door is a great song. It That Easy is great. 1,000 Deaths. I mean, it's a one of those albums to me that I would just, it's a real just like monument to music and kind of a spectacle and just
really
an achievement. Really love
with that Spanish guitar that just like perfectly transitions into that incredible bass line.
Sugar Daddy before it, like, yeah, there's just so many moments on here where you're just like, I love that it is like D'Angelo and the Vanguard, because the band is so good on this, and he plays a ton of instruments too. Very musical guy, but yeah, just, and the time it came out too was kind of, you know, another time when, if it hadn't yet, race relations in this country were about to be a big topic again. I mean, this was like post Trayvon Martin, but obviously like pre
George Floyd,
yeah, but it's one of those, kind of like we were talking about Vince Staples earlier, where it's just, you can apply it to any time in history, or you can listen to it today, and it will still kind of puts those feelings of like anger and pain. I don't think it'll ever not be a great album. It's only so much you can say about it. Well, there's kind of infinite you could say about it.
There's a lot said about it.
One of those that I think people could talk about for years to come.
Yeah.
And it's, R.I.P. Yeah, he just died within the past year, and it was the last thing that he ever did put out, and he only ever made 3 albums, and they're 3 of the most incredible albums ever, and he obviously had a really troubled life outside of music, but what just an enigma, and
a true legend.
Yeah.
Also funny timing for me. Just this past weekend, I was playing this album for Austin, who you guys both know, because you never heard it.
Austin Luxurious.
Other Austin who you met at our show in December.
Yes. Yes. Oh, he never heard D'Angelo, dude.
We were Dijon. We were listening to Dijon, and then it reminded me of Black Messiah.
Probably part of the reason I like that Dijon album so much was because it had some big Black Messiah vibes on it, big D'Angelo vibes.
I think it's because there was such a span between his albums. Like, there was a lot of people that had like a D'Angelo blind spot. Like, I didn't know about D'Angelo until like 2017 or 2018 because my homie from Chiba Hut told me about D'Angelo, and then that's when I went back, and I didn't even realize how, like, old the album was, because it sounded like it had just gotten made.
Super
I
fresh,
thought it was post T-Pab, didn't know it was like a year before T-Pab, and it was a massive awakening.
All I knew about D'Angelo before this album came out was I had seen the music video for How Does It Feel, Untitled, where he's because somebody showed it to me because they thought it was funny. They're like, "Oh, look at this video! Like the guy's like getting a blowjob the whole time." Have you ever seen the video to that song? It's from
Yeah.
off of Voodoo, yeah, where it's like cut off, but he's just like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then, but I never listened to like all of Voodoo or Brown Sugar, and then obviously went back to all that once I got into this, and I was like, oh, this was. I always thought this was like a meme, but I was like, this was like a incredibly important album and song and artist. So yeah, he is. I think yeah, there's obviously like you said with Austin, there's still people today who haven't been blessed with getting into D'Angelo, and but
Well,
to those who
the
know,
thing about
he's pretty elite.
most definitely. I'm thinking about him and I was saying this when we were listening to Black Messiah, but I always thought this listening to Voodoo too, where it's just like, how do you even write songs like this? Like, how does this come together? It's like there's almost not an identifiable part in the song. You know, like when you listen to music, you're like, okay, there's the bass line. I can imagine, you know, the bass player came in with that, was like, okay, we'll start a groove around this, or, you know, the guitar riff or whatever. But like D'Angelo's just so loose and free, and like,
yeah,
I'll never understand how you make music like that.
Probably the closest I'll ever be to getting into jazz in that regard.
Yeah.
You know,
it is just like, it feels like improv, and it just came together in the studio. It was like, all right,
like
here it is.
The title track Brown Sugar is very much like that, where it like starts off like that, and then it just goes into that groove. I want some of your brown sugar, dude. And it's like, oh my God, there it is. Yeah. Oh yeah. Just very rewarding. Yeah. But it definitely, I think, yeah, it's not the most accessible kind of at times, but when you're in the mood, nothing quite hits like it.
Great pick. That's another one where if I were making the list off of my taste today, that'd probably be in the list somewhere. But in the 2010s, I hadn't been fully hipped yet. I was into Voodoo in the 2010s, but Black Messiah, it took me a while to get into. So,
well,
yeah,
glad I included it, because that was one that I was shuffling around with, but it just felt like, it felt like so important that I'm like, all right, it should be here.
Absolutely. All right, number 12. For you, Julian?
Number 12 for me was the Beck album Morning Phase. Probably
strong
also
pick. Wow, glaring omission from my list.
Yeah, it's probably also like in my top 5 or top 10 live shows that I've ever seen was the Morning Phase tour. It was just like a fully transcendent experience and a fully transcendent album. It's just like so beautiful, and really, like, for me at the time, it was like a total surprise, because I'd like listened to Sea Change and I knew about the existence of like chill Beck music, but most of my favorite Beck music was like the more like crazy, like DJ sample inspired, like 2000s Beck. So yeah, Odelay. I was really into Modern Guilt, which is like more straightforward, but still way more like electric guitar.
I like the one with, was it called the E-Pro? What was the one with the E-Pro on it?
I think that's Guero.
Yes, I like that one.
Yeah, Guero's really good. Yeah, all those 2000s albums by Beck were like things I grew up listening to. So to have like Morning Phase be kind of like my first deep foray into like chill Beck music that's like orchestra based and like super acoustic, and produced by Nigel Godrich, so it sounded really good. The whole thing, it was like
amazingly produced album.
Yeah, very beautifully. It sounds like so fucking good even still. So yeah, I mean, it just like, again, was a new experience for me. It opened my eyes to this world of like really chill, really beautiful stuff. And
that has Morning Phase on it, right?
Yeah, Morning Phase is a song on it.
Yeah.
Morning Phase is the album, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It has like a.
That's right.
Yeah. No, you're fine. But yeah, no, it's just a really good record. I don't really think I have much to say about it other than that. It sounds really good. It holds up. It's like definitely
Won the Grammy over Beyonce. That's the one that won the Grammy,
Yeah,
right?
it did.
It did. Yeah, thanks for that reminder.
Yeah.
That was wasn't that the Becky with the good hair thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that came from?
Well, no, but everyone was applying it to Beck because he had good-looking hair when it was kind of a meme. It has the album Morning on it. That's what I was thinking of. But
Morning.
What album is Golden Age off of? I think that's what I meant to ask.
Sea Change.
Sea Change, that's right. Sea Change is good too.
Yeah, Sea Change is great. I just didn't really know about Sea Change until after Morning Phase, I guess. I knew about Sea Change, but as a kid, it was just kind of that boring, sleepy time record. It wasn't as fun to listen to as all of his other stuff from the 2000s.
It weren't Loser.
I was mature and able to understand what he was doing by the time Morning Phase came out, and then I was able to go back and appreciate Sea Change a bit more. And also, same drummer. So Atoms for Peace and the Morning Phase drummer is the same guy. So that's kind of fun.
I think I never knew that.
Yeah. All right, number 12 for you.
Okay, here's where we'll be able to pick up some speed because you guys will have nothing to say about really my next two probably.
Cool.
Number 12 for me, As You Were by Liam Gallagher.
Oh, yeah, no, nothing.
Yep, nothing for me.
It came out in 2017. It was his first solo album.
It's actually crazy that you would put a solo album by one of the Gallaghers on here.
Well, when it came out, I listened to it fucking nonstop for months and months. So it has to be in my top list because it was a very important album in the 2010s to me. And I really, in 2016, Trump became president. I was in college at the time. I felt really depressed at the time because I felt like I wasn't really connecting with anything pop culturally. 2016. Now I can go back and say there was some good music that came out then. I think 2016 is probably the worst year for movies ever. I just felt like there was really just a lot of trash shit out there and just nothing I could connect with. And it really felt like the time wasn't ours. And it was depressing because I was, 19, 20 then. And it felt like when I should be most excited about the world and art and what's going on. And then this album came out. And it's silly to say that because, he's obviously a legacy artist, dude from Oasis. He was in his, close to 50 at the time. It's not like he was the voice of the youth, but it did pull me out of a funk a little bit. Oh shit, life is happening. Here's a Liam Gallagher solo album and something I can kind of get behind. And it had some good tunes on it. And honestly, if I were redoing the list, I'd probably put it further up the list than 12. This would be a good pick for 15, honestly, but it's 12 for me right now. So,
all right.
Liam Gallagher.
We're not relitigating our lists right now.
No,
we're locked in.
We're locked in. I won't use a disclaimer like that again. You're right.
Yeah.
No, you could use a disclaimer. I'm just that you can't actually do it.
I don't think you should do that.
No really disclaimers.
Yep.
No disclaimers. Yep. You're right. We're locked in and solidified.
You took me out of. I was in a number 12 headspace, and you took me into a number 15 headspace.
Yeah. Now we're all the way back at the beginning again.
Now we're
an hour and a half into this podcast, and we're not even a third of the way through our lists.
Yeah, we really.
But we jerked off for a little while there too.
We did. There was some good banter.
Going in.
Literally. We'll put that in at the end.
Yeah, that's on the Patreon now.
Okay. Anything else about Liam Gallagher, Colin?
No. Let's go to 11.
Okay, cool. I didn't mean to rush you out of that. We were all me and Julian were.
I mean, I think you said everything.
Dude, Julian meant to rush me.
There's gonna be. I shouldn't talk.
Julian, you wish I'd never talked about. You don't even care about what I'm interested in.
I'm pretty close, I think, to going on a run of. I might not start here, but I'm definitely about to go on a run pretty soon of albums you guys don't give a fuck about. So I shouldn't talk any shit.
Same here, yeah.
That's good. We'll make up time there.
Cool. All right, my number 11. This is kind of one where I think where we mentioned earlier of just like the album that got us into the band, got me into the band, and now it's just always been my favorite. Even though there's definitely earlier albums from this band that I think people would hold in higher regard, this one, and even when I go back to it, I'm still like, yeah, this is my favorite one. Even though I love basically every album by this band, but my number 11 is Seven by Beach House.
Nice.
Yeah, I was a late bloomer on Beach House, but when this one came out, it really is front to back. Just has a lot of my favorite songs. It's a little more, I think it's a little more accessible. Maybe I was just finally in the right mood to start getting into Beach House, but Drunk in LA, Lemon Glow, just some classics, some really cool guitar work on there, and just a vibe of an album. I got this one early on when I got a record player and got really into it, and now I love Beach House as a band. I love all their albums, but this one is the one that's made the list for me for Beach House.
I pretty much listened to this album just because of you talking so highly of it. So yeah, thanks.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like it?
Oh no, it's great. It's like
yeah,
one
it's
of my
sick,
favorite
right?
Beach House records. Yeah.
I very much
think so.
associate this record with Last Summer because of you, because this was, I would consider myself a big Beach House fan. This isn't spoiling because it's honorable mentions, but Teenage Dream is on my honorable mentions list.
Yeah. Another great album.
Seven, I just kind of skipped past just because of when it came out. I guess I wasn't as locked into Beach House then, and it's an awesome album. Yeah.
It's another one, unironically, shout out to Pitchfork. They gave this album a super high score.
Uh-huh.
And I was kind of like, I'm like, oh, they get all Beach House albums high scores. But it was one of the, for some reason, I was like, I guess I'll check it out. And that's like the one I had tried before to get into Beach House, and it never clicked. And this is the album that made it click and then made me go back and like all their other stuff.
Bands where it's like, even if you don't like necessarily love all of what they do, it's like they do it at such a high level that you can always at least like respect it and appreciate it. And for me, it was almost like as a young teenager, or even maybe like closer to young adulthood, like I almost just like forced myself to listen to Beach House because I knew that I should like it more. And then it just clicked, like, oh yeah, this is actually really high level stuff that they're doing.
That's like basically what I did too. I just did it a little later, where it was when I got a record player. So it might even been a little after this one came out, but when I got a record player, I bought like 3 Beach House albums and was just like, I'm gonna make myself listen to these. And I would, with the assistance of weed, I would get very stoned and listen to Beach House, and then finally I was like, whoa,
we can't get behind that on podcadzo.
Yeah,
bleep that out. Drug-free, alcohol-free podcast. The only drugs we do here are dirty sodas.
I don't.
I actually am lactose intolerant, so
this is a Salt Lake City-based podcast.
Exactly, we have a Mormon-style way of enjoying ourselves.
We also
music is the only drug I need, really. We soak.
Sponsored by Chick-fil-A. Yeah. So anyway, just I would get high on life. I'd go out. I'd do like a run. And I'd go do some backflips with my friends, and I'd go to church, and then I'd come home, and it would just be like I was so high on life.
Benson Boone style stuff.
Yeah, put on some Beach House, and it was so good. So yeah, but yeah, that's shout out Beach House. Like we all love Beach House.
Huge shouts out.
All right.
Number 11, Julian, for you.
Should I go for it? All right. So this one is like probably my favorite like breakup album of all time. I wasn't even like necessarily going through a breakup when it came out. It's just like so universal. Like the lyrics are so universal, and the melodies are so like catchy, and also like hooky, and by design very poppy. That it just like feels like one of those albums that anyone could connect to. And it is Mass Seduction by St. Vincent. So I think this record is probably my favorite St. Vincent record. If not, it's definitely in my top 3. I was always a huge St. Vincent fan. Don't really know how I got introduced to her. I just remember always really liking her. and me and Will Brock connected really early in our friendship because of our like shared love of St. Vincent. And yeah, Mass Seduction just came out, pretty much the summer that I moved out of the house, and it like was just again one of those records that I kind of felt like I discovered on my own, that like no one like showed me or like told me about, and that made me like have an affinity for it. And obviously sharing it with like my good friend at the time obviously like just helped me really gain a lot of nostalgia for it. So it is one of the few records that I would say I have like pretty strong nostalgia connections to, and I also just think it's like musically brilliant. The last like 3 songs on this album, like played in sequence, make me like cry like a little girl pretty much every time I hear them, because they're just so like raw and like emotionally like potent. So it's a great album, and it's super like poppy. The art design is incredibly well done, and the whole thing is just like an era of St. Vincent that I like really like always wish we could like get back. But I also am glad she's not like trying to recapture it necessarily. I just think it's like when she was truly at like her best creatively. So yeah, it's a fucking great record. Definitely like one of the most listened to records of the 2010s for me.
And sorry,
Great pick.
which St. Vincent album was it, Julian?
It's called Mass Seduction. With one N.
2017.
Oh, you know what? I fucking read that album as Mass Education.
Yeah, it's got one S, so it looks confusing.
Yeah, it's
Mass Seduction.
Not a huge St. Vincent guy, but I really like Strange Mercy, and there's a couple. The song Los Angeles, I listened to that a lot when it came out.
Yeah, Los Angeles is
That's
great.
a great song.
That's album, so right? Yeah, it's so dynamic because like that album has a pop banger like that, but then it also has like piano ballads and like very chill emotional stuff, and like it's a breakup album at the end of the day, and it's like about the grief of like leaving a pretty toxic relationship. So I think it's just like a great storyteller album.
Cool. Great cover too.
Great cover.
Strange Mercy honestly should have made my list.
Yeah,
I like Mass Seduction, but was never as into that one as the earlier St. Vincent stuff.
I feel like, hold on, I need to double check, because I feel like Strange Mercy is like 2009 maybe.
No, 2011. Her first album's 2009. But sure. Yeah, Strange Mercy.
What was the band? She was in a band, right?
Yeah,
she was. It wasn't a super popular band, but she was a guitar. Yeah, she was a guitar player, touring guitar player in a band before she went solo.
And she
I can't remember who the band was. Did she drop out of Berkeley?
I don't know if she dropped out or not. I just know that she went there because we went to visit a homie one time who went to Berkeley, and they had like a whole shrine for Annie Clark, like in one of the hallways. I was like, dude, that's fucking sick.
That's cool.
And it was like around the time that Mass Seduction came out, I want to say. Might have been a little bit before.
I very much had a crush on her around that time.
Yeah, she was definitely
around
like
the Strange
first,
Mercy times.
Yeah, she was like the first hot girl musician that I like had fantasies about.
I think you have a type, Colin, because she doesn't not look like your wife.
True.
Probably.
She's a little taller.
Well, I don't know how tall she is.
How dare you, Julian?
Yeah.
How dare you speculate about my wife's height?
I mean, I know for a fact that she's short.
Julian just came on this broadcast just to bring down women.
Again.
As per usual. I'm surprised this is the first time you've said anything positive about a female artist ever.
Yeah.
And the best you could do is number 11.
Yeah. Not even in your top 10,
another one either. Nope, not another.
My number 1 is the re-release of the Lilith Fair live tapes that they put out in 2012.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
It's the level I'm at.
Yeah, great.
My entire top 6 are all just Taylor Swift's 2010 output.
Yeah, it's Red.
Yeah.
And the other ones.
Taylor's version, yeah.
And 1989 and the other ones, like you said.
The other we all know. It's not even worth saying the names because we all know.
I'm not even gonna bore you guys or insult you guys by saying their names. We all know them.
I bet you'd love that, wouldn't you, Julian? If we were gonna say the names, but we're not
God.
going to.
Because Julian doesn't even. He said, "What? A woman? I'll pass on that one."
Yeah, unless she's making me a sandwich, I don't want to hear about it.
Oh.
Oh.
All right. That's
Typical Italian answer there.
even as a joke. Oh, sidebar. Did you guys watch the UFC Freedom 250 this
Hell
weekend?
no.
Of course,
Yeah, it was
brother.
good.
Of course, yeah.
Yep. I loved it.
I don't
Loved
believe
every
in
minute of
organized
it.
sports.
You know me, I watch every UFC event. I watch every Trump presidential birthday event. So for me, this was the ideal
win-win.
crossover.
A twofer.
It's not Trump's birthday. It's America's birthday. Coming up.
It was Trump's birthday too. That's why he did the UFC thing. It was his 80th birthday.
Okay, I thought it was like a 250. But it
Well,
was
yeah,
like an
it's
America
all wrapped
250
together.
thing too, right? Wrapped
When
into
we're
one,
off the
which-
pod, Connor, I have a very funny Freedom 250 story to tell you
Oh, okay.
that I dare not recite on the pod.
All right. Too spicy for the pod. See, if you guys think we
Yes.
get crazy on the pod, you should hear our off-pod convos.
Most defo. All right. My number 11, also when we can kind of
Once.
skip through. Huh? Own say. My own say
Mhm.
is Playland by Johnny Marr. This album came out in 2014. I had my Smiths awakening like 2012, 2013 maybe. The Messenger was put out in 2013 by Johnny Marr. So it was really a debate between The Messenger and Playland for me, but I have Playland on vinyl and I've listened to it more times, so I ended up going with Playland. But Messenger is a great album too. But that was a good time for me. It's, right prior to that is when I discovered Johnny Marr. He very immediately became a huge influence for me. And I was like, wow, not only like I'm into the Smiths now, but like my favorite part about the Smiths, Johnny Marr, is releasing these solo albums. It's great. And Playland remained on constant rotation for me throughout. Really until today, I listen to Johnny Marr all the time. He just dropped a new single a couple days ago. I fear Johnny Marr is getting a little bit samey with some of his solo stuff, but I still find it interesting, and I'm just happy he's out there putting out music. And yeah, Playland, great album.
Sweet. All right.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Ready to get into the top 10?
Top 10.
Top 10. This is big time.
Meow.
All right, my number 10. Great electronic album. Got a couple electronic albums on here. Didn't know shit about house, or wasn't into house, which is probably why if you look at the back sleeve, probably why I liked this so much. And this album is Against All Logic's 2012 through 2017. Against All Logic is the alias for Nicholas Jar when he makes house music. This was one where it was just another one unceremonious release. Just kind of put it out. It was just a bunch of house shit he'd been working on for like the last 5 years, put it out on his label, and it is really fucking good. Still really good, holds up. Some of my favorites on here. I mean, Hopeless is amazing. Now You Got Me Hooked is like, I played that song into the fucking ground. You're Gonna Love Me and Scream, Know You. This is really front to back. And I didn't even fuck with this type of music like at all. And my buddy was just like, dude, you gotta listen to this new album. And it kind of just immediately clicked for me. So this one I listened to like right when it came out in 2017, and it's got me into Nicholas Jar, who probably ended up being one of my, I would put in my probably top 10 artists of the 2010s with his output. He's a genius producer in my opinion, and had so much cool shit. And he's also really fun to get into because he's always putting out shit under different aliases. And like when this came out, he didn't like promote it. People were like, I'm pretty sure this is a Nicholas Jar album, but we don't even know. He didn't even like promote, like he just drops shit under different names and doesn't even tell you about it. But yeah, I mean, he had 4 or 5 albums from the 2010s that could have made this list for me, but I went with the one that opened him up for me, and that was this one.
So I would not
Right.
be surprised if Against All Logic is in my top 10 most streamed artists for this year, because Connor was out here in December visiting and we went to a record store and you pulled this record out and said, "Oh, you know this
I
one?"
remember
And I
that.
didn't. And I added it to my Apple library and have listened to it constantly since then. It's like whenever I'm just like looking for something to put on, like listen to, like, oh, I want music on right now, Against All Logic is what I've been throwing on.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's an awesome
It's one of
album.
those. It's great It's great in the background, and then but also you'll like sit down and listen to it a little closer, and like the songs that you like kind of had in your head as background songs, you're just like, oh
Mhm.
shit, I never like. Whoa, what's he doing here?
Well, that's
And
what's
it's like,
that's what's fun to yeah. That's why it's so great to listen to. Is I feel like every time I listen to it, I lock into a different song or groove,
a different
or
groove.
like
Yeah, you're just
something different grabs me each time. It's like, how did I never notice this thing going on in the album? And yeah,
Well, I
rewards
remember.
repeat
I
listens.
remembered when we were at that looking through those records, and I showed you this, and I did not know that you actually went and listened to it. So I'm glad to hear that you
Yeah,
also,
Mhm.
because this is an album that I feel like I screamed from the rooftops at people, because it didn't, far too many people aren't, and especially with like the moment, I feel like house is so big right now, and it's going through that thing that genres do when they get big, where they get really big and then people make a bunch of really generic versions of it, and it's kind of sad. And that's kind of where house is at for me right now. So like an album like this, where it's like there's true artistry in it, it should have more credit, and I hope it has a resurgence, because it rules. But something tells me Nicholas
Mhm.
Jar doesn't really care, because he didn't even tell people it was him. So, but
yeah,
nice. Glad you were listening to it.
hell yeah.
All right, Julian.
Julian, your numero
Yes.
10.
All right. So this one for me was, I think I've already told the story on the pod, so I'll not tell it again. But my homie from work showed me this band, and it's like the first band that I think someone from work showed me that I like actually really liked and still like to this day. It was like kind of right on the cusp of when I started getting into more like psychedelic stuff. And he showed me some of their like older, more like jam heavy stuff. And then this record came out in 2017, and it totally just like made me fall in love with the project forever. And that is the album Sleeping Through the War by the band All Them Witches. It's definitely my favorite All Them Witches record. I was lucky enough to see them play it all the way through a couple years ago in Denver. I think that it's probably everyone's favorite All Them Witches record, except for maybe like some people like their older stuff a little bit more. But this was when they kind of pivoted away from being like blues jammy and got more like stony and psychedelic. And it's just like a perfect album from start to finish. I think it has like my favorite introduction track of like maybe any record, being Bulls, because it's just like such a good mood setter, and it's so like just like vibey and groovy, and it really inspired me to, because kind of before like 2017 everything I liked was just like proggy and like stupid and weird and mathy, and this kind of like made me realize that stuff that's just like groovy and feels good is like just as hard to pull off as like proggy mathy weird shit. So it was kind of a transitive time in that way of just being like, okay, it's cool to like lean back a little bit and just like feel the pocket and like groove and be like psychedelic and trippy, and it's not like lame or cheating or easy by any means.
I wish I had more to say about this one. You know me, I'm not really a huge All Them Witches fan. I think I've listened to everything All Them Witches has put out, but I'm not intimately familiar.
Yeah.
Connor, have you ever listened to All Them Witches?
Mm-mm.
This is like one of those
I haven't heard of
bands
this
that
one.
I kind of feel like I'm always screaming from the rooftops, like how you were just talking about that with your record. Like, I'm always trying to tell people that I think that they'd really like this band, and then it's always kind of just like it never seems to like hold, it never like sticks with anyone for the long term. But I have shared it with a few people who genuinely like it, and I know of other people who really like this band too. And obviously, I was shown this band by a friend, and they stuck with me. So they're definitely like a little bit singular. They don't try to like break the mold too much, but they're really good at what they do. And yeah, I think that they just this record in particular found me at a very good time in my life when I really needed to like just hear stuff that was a bit more like groovy and like Nashville blues inspired. So yeah, love it. It's a great album.
Hell yeah. My number 10, Damn, by Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, it did make.
And this is
somebody
me. This is me being very honest. So yeah, Conor, what you said earlier really stung. When you said that it was a better pick, that Julian's Untitled International was a better pick than Damn.
Sorry. I did not think you're going to have Damn on your top 10. I
was
always
very-
associated it with Julian.
I was very close to just to have some cool points putting Good Kid, Mad City on here. And again, if I were making a list today, I would do that. But in the 2010s, Damn is what connected with me most immediately. I think I told the story on the pod where the day it dropped, I was on a mountain bike ride and it pops up in my recommendations.
Yeah, we were just talking about this because I was playing Nazi Zombies.
Yeah,
And,
that's right.
Yeah, DNA. That like
DNA.
Dude, the transition from the intro into DNA where he has that clip with like the Fox News Geraldo Rivera clip where he's like, "This is why I say that," or no, well, he says that later in the song. But what is she goes, it's the line from All Right where it's like, "Oh, and we hate the po-po, gonna kill us in the street for show," and she's just like, "Oh, please, I don't like it," and then it drops and it's so good.
Incredible. I know.
What a moment.
It really is.
It's a great album.
And it is a great album. And it just, like I said, immediately connected with me. I listened to it.
We know why you really love it so much. It's got a YouTube feature on it.
Oh, yeah. Still YouTube's biggest song on streaming. If you go to streaming services, their number one song is off of the Kendrick, is off Damn.
That's just a timing thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. But Damn.
I think Damn might be the most universally beloved record of the 2010s if I could go out on that limb, at least as far as like major pop culture. Like it captured the zeitgeist and it held it for so long. Like it was like the album of the summer, and then it was like the album of the winter, and then it was like the Grammys like clean sweep record. Like it just held on for so long, and it very much so deserves it. But yeah, it just like it really captured people, and it definitely like was needed at the time for just everything that was going on in the political world, how disenfranchised everyone felt from like the government. It was just like the perfect album for the time that it came out.
I agree with you. I would make the claim though that Blonde is the most universally loved 2010s album. The amount of people I've met who Blonde is their favorite album of all time.
I kind of agree with that because I love Blonde and I didn't put it on my list, and I feel like part of the reason was that I just felt like it was on so many.
You don't want to be basic.
It's just like Blonde has gotten its flowers, so I'll pick something.
But if not Blonde, I would agree. Damn is like, I bet for a good percentage of the population in their top three would be Damn and Blonde. So yeah, I'd say my most mainstream pick in my list for sure. All right, number 9.
Number 9, Just double check my list here. Okay. Number 9. So we were talking about, this has not Vince Staples. We were talking about Vince Staples earlier, just like how he says that like hard hitting way of talking and like talking about what's in front of him, what's in this neighborhood. This guy is the one guy who I felt could kind of do that in not a similar way, but it had the same feeling in a very different style. He put out two, in my opinion, two classic rap albums in the 2010s. It was hard to pick one, but I went with the one that struck me first. Also, in relation to Damn, this was the original rap album to put a way too big parental advisory label on the cover. That is My Crazy Life by YG. Just a sick rap album. The production is absurdly good. This is people. I mean, I don't think a lot of people who listen to a lot of rap, but people recently, when Not Like Us came out, there were people out there who that was their first time hearing about DJ Mustard. The real ones though, this is when fucking DJ Mustard got on the map in this album. DJ Mustard was going stupid on this album. It is, I will say, one critique. It's not a front to back for me. There are definitely skips, but I mean, like tracks 1 through 7 are so fucking good. It's one of the best like first sides of a rap album. One of my favorite first sides of a rap album ever. And then yeah, I think YG. I thought he was just kind of like a pop rapper type of guy, and then this album came out, and he really just showed people he had this whole other skill set of this is storytelling and him making you feel like you're in Compton doing drive-bys and robbing people. He just has a way of telling a story, wrapping it up in a song, and making you feel like you're there. And that's just how like this whole album feels to me. And then after this, it came out with Still Brazy, which I think is like right up there with this album. But yeah, this one was just kind of almost such a surprise. Just finding out right now, executive produced by Jeezy. I did not know that. I'm just reading that on the vinyl, but as well as YG, DJ Mustard, and Sycamore. But yeah, awesome album. This was kind of one where I was like, am I really going to put this in my top 15? But I've loved it for so long, and I went back and listened to it again, and especially like that first, like 7-track run. It's BPT, Just Want to Party, Left Right, Pick It Back, Being Bull, Meet the Flockers, My N-Word. And then there's a couple skips, and then Who Do You Love, and then Really Be Smoking and Drinking with Kendrick, 1 a.m. There's just, yeah, it's great throwback to G-Funk, but like it still sounds modern. Like it's borrowing so much from that like NWA, Ice Cube 90s, which is some of the shit that got me into rap in the first place. But it doesn't feel dated. It feels modern, which like Mustard obviously has a huge amount to do with. But yeah, this is just one of my all-time favorite rap albums.
Are you a YG guy, Julian?
Yes, but I wasn't like at the time at all. I didn't know about YG till way later.
I still haven't really given YG the proper attention.
I think
really
I'll
for
need
me,
to go, I'll need to go and listen to this one.
listen to this. Yeah, keep in mind, like there are a few like Do It To You, Me and My Bitch aren't great. Thank God, Sorry Mama. There's a couple like maybe 4 I would throw off. So just when those hit, don't say I didn't warn you. And then this and Still Brazy. I think he never really got back to those heights after. He's had some songs I've liked, but he hasn't had an album like those two. So those are the two I would try spend the most time with. Still Brazy is also great though.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm excited to listen.
Sweet.
Number
Just
9.
don't
for you.
also first song on this album, BPT, first song after the intro. You'll know it when you hear it. Not a good bump it with your windows down song.
Yeah, definitely played at the house.
You're gonna laugh when you hear it because you're gonna be like, "Yep, he was right." Yeah, fair warning. YG is one of those guys. Anytime I'm bumping it with my windows down, I'm like, "You can't pull this off." He just has such a gangster sound to him. I'm just like, I almost feel like he'd be mad if he knew I was listening to this.
Well,
But
I'm
they bang.
almost certain he's listening to this podcadzo episode, so
Yeah,
we'll see
he's
what is
gonna have-
true. I'm sure he's
Shout
honored
out.
to be in your top 15.
Hey, shout out
Top
YG.
10.
Shout out Jizzle.
All right, Julian, number 9.
Number 9 for me. It's just like a good, loud rock album that it's by a band that I like listened to a lot as a kid and as a teenager that I didn't necessarily like fully click with or like fully love until this record came out. And then when this record came out, it was like in very heavy rotation with me and the friends. It's like another one of those records where I remember listening to it with the boys like all the time when it came out, which was also like when we were all kind of freshly out of the house and doing our own thing. So it's just very formative. That is the record Marauder by the band Interpol.
Nice.
I really, really like this album. Think it might be my favorite Interpol record. And it's just, loud rock, straightforward guitar music, and kind of an energy that they hadn't really captured in a long time, but with like the maturity and insight that they gained after like years of being a very highly functioning touring band. So I think it's just them like at their best. And I love the album. I think that it's a great place to start for anyone who like doesn't necessarily know the most about Interpol or like love all of what they've heard. I think it's like a super good way in. And it sounds fucking crazy. Even like to this day, it's one of the louder records that I've ever heard. It always sounds like it's about to like bust the speakers. So super unique listen, super unique experience. Paul Banks is a fucking badass. I'm a ride or die for Paul Banks now because of this record. So yeah.
Hey, Julian, Interpol's coming to or did they already come? I think it's in the future. They're coming to Santa Barbara Bowl this summer.
Nice.
Should I
Dude.
go?
You
I
should
wasn't gonna go.
absolutely see them.
Yeah.
I
They're
should
like
go,
also
okay.
probably in top 10 bands for me. Like they just like, as far as live, they just like their live setup is
Yeah, it's
so
in August.
professional. It's like the
Okay.
most professional, like it's so dialed. We saw them at Mission and it was like just by far the most well-run show I'd ever seen at the Mission. Like it sounded incredible. It was so balanced. You could just tell that they're so experienced being on stage. Like it's a level of professionality that you just don't see that much.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
I will go.
You should definitely go.
Nice. Glad you brought that up because I wasn't planning on going.
Great pick.
I haven't listened. I've been like really only listened to Turn on the Bright Lights. Haven't gotten it, so I will definitely put that on the list. Marauder.
Yeah,
Marauder.
Marauder. They have like ups and downs, in my opinion, in like the late 2000s, early 2010s. There's like a member, like a lineup change that kind of affects the sound a little bit.
Mhm.
And
Carlos
then they
left.
kind of like go back to basics a little bit in like 2014 with El Pintor. And then Marauder, in my opinion, is their first. It's like the first iteration of Interpol 2.0 where they really just start making like super conceptual records where like the whole thing is kind of its own unique experience from start to finish, and it doesn't necessarily like connect directly to the rest of the Interpol catalog. I feel like they've just been doing that ever since, because all their albums since Marauder have been like very different and like unique to themselves and like not very singular. So yeah, they're definitely on a super good upward right now, in my opinion.
Cool.
Yeah, bro.
Number 9 for me, Plastic Beach by Gorillaz.
Nice. I was wondering if
That
someone was
did
gonna
come
do
out
it.
2010. I fucking really.
It came out
I didn't
March of
even check.
2010, which I didn't read.
Damn.
So this is on the list because the Now was on my list. And then, which I was very much considering having the Now and Plastic Beach on the same one, but Plastic Beach is the more important album to me, and I listened
Plastic
to
Beach
it
is so
a
good.
ton in the 2010s. It is surprising it did come out in 2010, because to me that just feels like kind of a continuation of like Demon Days, like it feels like it should be an earlier Gorillaz album. and yeah, it's a very foundational album to me, and just it's truly a classic album, Plastic Beach. So
I went through the exact same thing where I started with the Now because it's like probably these days the Gorillaz album that I would go to first, but overall Plastic Beach, it's just undeniable how massive it was and how much it
It's so
meant to
good.
the Gorillaz fans and Gorillaz as a band too.
yeah,
I really like the
absolutely.
song with Lou Reed on this album.
Yeah, amazing. The Now is like, when it came out, I was so into the Now, and I still listen to that album a fuck ton. But yeah, exactly. Plastic Beach was just, more important to me for a longer time in the 2010s.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And it was like, I mean, I always use like System of a Down as like an example of one of those bands that just like everyone that our age kind of like at least knows something about. Like they're so universal that like everybody knows BYOB. Like you could say the same thing about Plastic Beach in my opinion. Like everyone our age had some kind of like moment with Plastic Beach when they were growing up. Doesn't really matter
Exactly
what they're listening to before or after that. They all had like their moment where they were like a Gorillaz fan for a bit.
Yep.
Yeah. Well said. I do believe we're on to number 8 now.
Number eight for me is the only album. The Ocho. ESPN 8, The Ocho.
The Ocho.
Number 8 for me is the only album on this list that I don't have the vinyl for because it's fucking impossible to find. One. Yes, I just checked. This is the last one where I won't have a vinyl to hold up. And I have looked. It's fucking impossible to find. I haven't looked recently. Maybe it's more accessible now. But this number 8 for me is the album that turned me into a mumble rap guy. As much as I hate that term, or a trap guy, I really didn't fuck with that kind of mumble rap thing that was happening. And then this was my entry point, and then I got really into all that shit. And this was the one when I realized it was people could be like artsy about it, and one of the guys who I think was the coolest and artsy about it. And this album is, of course, Barter 6 by Young Thug. I thought Young Thug was a joke, to be honest. And then once again, fucking Pitchfork gave this album like a really high score, and I was like, really, the Young Thug album? And then I listened to it, and like,
I made the joke earlier that Pitchfork was there to determine my tastes.
I mean, at this point in my life, Pitchfork was Pitchfork. This was probably peak me getting my music taste off Pitchfork in the 2010s. So it's not a coincidence that my top 2010 albums are like these. Probably like not an album on this list that doesn't have a really high Pitchfork score. But yeah, Barter 6, like it's out of this album, maybe love Young Thug, and I love him to this day. And I think he went on a really great creative run in the 2010s. The other one I would have put on here was Jeffrey, but I picked one, so I went with Barter 6 because it's the one that got me into him. But I mean, like Halftime, one of my favorite rap songs of all time. Dome, there aren't that many songs that get me going. Like Dome gets me going. I mean, Check is so good. But it's just weird too, It's a way weirder album than a lot of like this trap shit had on it back then. And he clearly didn't give a fuck, and he was doing some crazy stuff out there, but he made a lot of bangers. And it was kind of, especially at this point in time in like 2015, you kind of felt like you were cooler than people when you liked Young Thug. Like you felt like you knew something that other people didn't know when you were into Young Thug. And this album was the epitome of that. But I converted a lot of my friends to this album when it was out because I was listening to it all the time. But yep, Barter 6.
Definitely another one of those that I did not discover until like way later. But it is cool, and it's also like very like he's got such an attitude. Like it's his attitude is so crazy.
he's a crazy person, but like in a really cool way, and he does not give a fuck. And yeah, it's just that kind of, I think only a personality like his is kind of the only guy who could kind of come up with this kind of shit, because you really have to not care.
You really have
About-
to just not give a fuck.
Yeah.
You have to be a little bit insane.
Hey,
Mhm.
does my audio sound a lot different if I use this microphone?
It sounds
it
like a
sounded
little different. Little
Sound
Sound a little
Sound worse.
cracklier.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me go back to the. I just wanted to switch headphones because the other ones were getting uncomfortable.
Were they hurting your
Okay,
little
let
head,
me-
baby
Less
boy?
clear.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
You know what I was gonna say, Colin? You could totally divvy this ep up into 2 eps, do a part 1 and part 2.
This could be a
Just-
part, yeah, which is
Not
great.
tell-
because
I
we're
mean-
trying to-
we could
to
just
bank eps.
put it. We could
we
just
should-
put it out because our Steely Dan episode is still like
Yeah,
longer than this
yeah.
one.
We'll see if we're not.
How long was
well,
the Steely Dan one?
240.
It was like, okay, we're at 212, but we're still on. I just started off number 8. We're like
Yeah.
not even halfway through.
This is
I mean,
ridiculous.
I think we should do the whole thing right now.
I mean,
for sure.
anyone who
Yeah.
doesn't want to listen
But-
to part 1 like as one part.
The
surely
Steely
isn't
Dan
gonna
was
listen
only
to part 1 and
2.5.
part 2.
Oh yeah, what if we just did? What if we just say, here's a break where if you were going to split this up, this
I
would
think
be
it's
the
great.
time to do it.
I need another
It doesn't
beer
matter
and I'm going to go to the
either way.
restroom. So, guys, thank you
All
so
right.
much for listening to this part of Podcadzo. Stay tuned for part 2 next week.
Uh,
Where
We're
you
still
can hear
finishing the
numbers.
episode though, right now.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause
I know,
it already
we'll
took
still
us-
finish it. Yeah.
It already took us like a month to schedule this.
yeah.
I'm
So-
in such a great flow right now. I probably will never
Yeah.
achieve this.
We're in
level
flow.
of
We're
again.
in flow state.
Yeah.
And I have been maintaining. We've been maintaining our hards on for 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Yeah, I'm starting to get
So,
lightheaded, but
Our personal record
I'm
for me.
gonna have to go to the emergency room by the end of this episode.
I'm gonna blood
Truly,
clot
this
my
will
dick.
be a 4-hour one.
Yeah.
The 4-hour hards on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
It's podcadzo.